We need to be intellectually honest about what this bill does and what it doesn't do. The supporters of this bill claim it is building trust, but in reality, it creates serious risks for public safety. They say this bill protects families. Correct me if I am wrong, but protecting families means protecting all families, including the families who are victims of violent crime and innocent families being potentially put in harm's way because of what is missing from this bill. And that's where this bill specifically fails. All we want to include in this legislation is a clear, meaningful distinction that local law enforcement be required to alert federal immigration authorities that those who have been convicted of the most heinous crimes imaginable, specifically murder, rape, or crimes against children, additionally human trafficking, that they are being released from custody and returning to our communities, making us all less safe. This shouldn't even be a partisan concern whatsoever. This should concern every single one of us in this chamber and in the state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, my words today will be twisted and turned by my colleagues and the media, but I have worked with many of you, and you all know where I stand on this issue. Public trust is not built by ignoring reality. Public trust is built when communities are safe. And safety requires clear accountability for violent criminals. This bill moves us in the diametric opposite direction. By restricting communication and cooperation between law enforcement agencies, we are not making our communities safer. We are making them weaker and less safe. We are erecting barriers where cooperation should exist. And when it comes to individuals who have committed serious violent crimes like rape, murder, human trafficking, or pedophilia, that lack of coordination can have devastating consequences. That is why we are offering an amendment that is clear, focused, and rooted in something that isn't so common sense. Our amendment specifically says, if an individual in this country illegally has been convicted of murder, rape, human trafficking, or pedophilia, then local and state law enforcement must provide notice of their release from prison or jail to federal immigration authorities. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, no ambiguity, no gray area, no politics whatsoever. Just a straightforward safeguard to ensure that the most dangerous offenders do not slip through the cracks because agencies failed to communicate. If this body is serious about protecting families, then this should not even be controversial a little bit. We can and should have a thoughtful conversation about immigration policy. But we should never pass legislation that prioritizes political gamesmanship over public safety. I urge my colleagues to adopt this amendment and rethink the severity of what this legislation will do without this amendment. Because if just one person, one child is hurt because a violent murder, rapist, human trafficker, or pedophile was back in our communities, the blame solely rests on my colleagues across the aisle who are in support of this bill. Thank you.